Now we have to go down to the bunker, to the depths of 65 meters. It's 18 floors down the stairs. Briefly about this building where we are now. Generally, this house is very unusual. It's not empty inside, but let's say it's full. It hides reinforced concrete hemisphere inside that covers the entrance of the object and defends the entrance from the shock wave. There you can see schematically. This is the building, and this is a reinforced concrete dome. This building is the protective structure. And so at time militaries used exactly this entrance. The locals saw all that, but it didn't confuse them. There was a sign on the wall of the building, the military library. Our militaries love to read. What is strange in that? They really think is yes. This is the entrance to the secret object. Tell me please, what year this bunker was built in? The construction of the bunker took place in the time lapse from 1950-1954. In 1954 it was finished. The bunker was built by the order of Stalin, but it was commissioned only in 1956. At that time Comrade Khrushchev was in the country, and Stalin planned to have his own residence here. But let's talk about it exactly in his study. Let's go, comrades, right to the deep, down the ground. Here look, the entrance is defended by such reinforced concrete two-tone doors. This is the protection in case of the shock wave and radiation. The first and the second door. This corridor is curved also. First it turns on 180 degrees, then on 90, to reverse shock wave. And these doors, hermetical, this is the protection from the radioactive dust. Cool. Here the most interesting things begin. Be ready to go down, look under your feet and watch your head. Here are 18 bunkers floors, but as I understand, it's like 12 floors of the high-rise house. No, why 12? 18? You will see. I would not say that here are low ceilings. You know, it's very expensive to create something special for bunker and setting up production for it. More easier is to use the standard things. The only thing that I can know that the height of ceilings in houses is different. We all know that Stalin's buildings have very high ceilings. Khrushchev's buildings are more simple. So unusual. 18 floors underground. Very interesting. This is the unique object. In fact, there are not many of them in the world. And as far as I understand, the main bunker is under the Kremlin. So more details you can get at the Lubyansky Proezd. This is the only declassified object of the fourth anti-nuclear protection class in Russia. If we speak about another objects, this will be disclosure of state secrets, so we don't speak about them. I see. One guy told me that everybody knows about the bunker under the Kremlin, but there are some nuances that are not told. I ask you to pay attention that I don't know. By the way, more than half of our way is overcome. So it's not so scary as it seemed. Anyway, if there is any safe place in Moscow, then we are here. That is very interesting. Could you tell what is the reaction of foreign tourists when they get in to the bunker? First of all, of course, it's the admiration of scale and fundamentality of structure. And also some sadness about all those objects in general it took place to be. That the threat of nuclear war was real. It was seriously referred to. Not talking about nowadays. This problem is actual in our days. So foreigners penetrate as a rule. The deeper we go down, the colder it becomes. You know, here is a stable temperature in the object. 18 degrees above zero both in winter and in summer. It is not supported by air conditioner, but it's the temperature itself. No, it's called geothermal heating. We are under the ground. Here the consult temperature like in a cave. You know that in Europe wines are also kept under the ground. I tell you more, some objects built in the time of World War II nowadays are used as wine caves and caves for cheese. In this case, they are transferred to a peaceful course. Let's go to the checkpoint. The depth now is already 65 meters from all sides. Even we are surrounded by Moscow metro. We even can hear it. Actually, right now, just above us, the train are coming by the Taganska-Krasnopresninskaya line. You know, beside the metro, the object is surrounded by underground water. So, for nothing to drop on us, the tunnel was covered by metal waterproofing. Here is approximately 1 centimeter of anti-corrosive steel, then after this steel is 1 or 1.5 meter of extra strong concrete. Every builded square is a tip of 1.5 meter anchor. That is a piece of fitting, the bolt if you like. They join firstly all the layers of the construction, secondary generally make it stronger. Once here was checkpoint. The officer was on his duty, who provided the permit system and checked the documents of those who entered. In case of any, let's name them, critical situation, he would sound the alarm. The armed unit came at that signal, and guys like them act accordingly to their inner instructions. This tunnel, where we're talking, is the main, that is our main hub, that connects all 4 blocks of this underground system. And now we are going to the 4th one. This is the place where nowadays the Museum of Cold War is situated. But the museum there is only nowadays. Lately there was the reserve command post of the headquarters of the distant aviation of the Soviet Union. To say simply, the generals, all the high membership, gathered here to execute the command of distant bombers. In case of nuclear attack of the Soviet Union, exactly they would provide the nuclear strike back. Anyway, we are close to the keystone moment, like the purpose of the object. It's important to understand that it's definitely not the shelter. Nobody was going to save someone's lives or to evacuate here somebody in case of alarm. No, the bunker was strategic. Its main aim was to provide the nuclear strike back. Let's go. Yes, sure, thank you. The remaining blocks of the bunker are further on the tunnel, but we are turning here. We have come to the special garment part of the object. Someday there were plans to use those rooms for the Soviet government. But time passed, and those plans were not come true. Anyway, we could not pass by this problem in our museum. The study of the father of nation and the leader of the proletariat is right about us. There is Iosif Vissarionovich Stalin himself. Here pay attention to his personal bodyguards. Right in front of you there is Comrade Lieutenant Colonel and Comrade Soldier is over there. They have very specific clothes. Only one branch of armed force in the Soviet Union must wear the shoulder boards without the emblem. These blue caps also issue the belonging to state security. For instance, the officers of 9th, the 9th main government of KGB, provided the security of the leaders of the state. Nowadays, this structure is named as FSO. All the bunker is built from the same details and the same technologies as the metro was built. Moreover, it was built by the same people who built the metro. Even during their construction, they thought that they were building the metro. They didn't know about secret complex. They thought that they built some kind of substation together with an innovative filter and ventilation for the annual branch, which with its power will cover almost a quarter of the ring. The object is secret, yes, but at the same time it was not military either, nor strategic. They were misinformed. Let's go to Comrade Stalin while he is in a good mood. Here we welcome Comrade Поскребышев Alexander Nikolaevich, who was his personal secretary and adjutant from 1935 until the death of the Stalin. Now I will tell you at once that Iosif Vissarionovich Stalin had never been here at all. The case is that he had passed away before the object was built. But this was Stalin who ordered to build this bunker. Anyway, he is closely related to the object. This relation you can see even from 1942, when our agents from fascism Germany reported that the fascists are close to the creation of the nuclear bomb. This leads its certain war in Soviet Union, and at time by the order of Stalin began the preparation of products, special constructions that are capable to protect from the new kind of weapon. With that, there were many kinds of projects and their realization was delayed till the moment of the conduction of its own Soviet nuclear test that took place in 1949. And yes, then, in 1949, on the nuclear polygon they tested not only the bomb itself, but the ways of protection and taking coverage. Among the others, this kind of construction where we are now. How those tests were taking place. Those kind of blocks were constructed under the test field on the different dips. Inside them were placed the experimental animals. There were cows, rabbits, in general approximately 40,000 of animals. And from above they blew up the bomb that was placed on the tower, and they watched that had happened to animals under the ground. After the explosions, it turned out that on the depths of 55 meters, the cows and the rabbits are fine. Afterward, the construction was refined, deepened in additional, and used as a basis of all that is surrounding us now. Only after the leading their own tests, when everyone was sure of the construction, Comrade Stalin himself approves the plan of the building this kind of objects. At the moment of approving, he chooses and points the certain places where he is planning to have his own residence. But it's important to understand that the residence is not for living, but to have additional points to guard the country and the army in case of the nuclear war. This bunker also got this residence, which makes its exclusivity. And in 1950, he orders to build this kind of typical constructions under Moscow. Anyway, to tell you the truth, he had not been here, as he passed away in 1953. The bunker was finished in 1954. In 1956 it was commissioned by the time of Khrushchev. That is why all that you see here in his study, this is artificial atmosphere produced to honor the memory of Stalin. In fact, this part of bunker in Soviet time was attached to the security officers. What exactly they were doing here, we hardly ever know. And now I would like to talk about the process of the construction of the object. Let's go. come this way of the first floor. Look, this is how the people who built the metro and this bunker looked like. Those who finished the construction of Таганская кольцевая station in 1950, and this tunnel, by the way, leads there. So, from those who were the most experienced, were selected and formed special unit and adjutant for the construction of the object. I've already told that they understood that the object was secret. They subscribed the gag order, but they didn't know that here will be the headquarters. The motivation of this special unit was not bad. The salary was in free time more than those who were built the metro. The apartment was given out of turn. The child was accepted to the nursery out of turn. Nutritional products and delicacies for holidays. That time to work in special unit was the best start of the career. And this tunnel, as I've already told, leads to the Таганская кольцевая. It's divided into two floors. The lower floor is cargo, and upper corridor is for people, and there are doors to the metro in the end of the corridor. Now I'd like to show you this door. Let's go. So, the door which I've told is in the end of this tunnel. Now we will have a small demonstration. Just the imitation of the nuclear explosion of the surface. Don't be afraid. Wow. So guys, if you have claustrophobic, probably this place is not for you. But I feel pretty comfortable here. Nothing dangerous. Oh, now our guide is coming to us. Comrades, everything is over. We won. Well, it was impressive.
Производит впечатление.
What can I add? We can only hope that this kind of constructions will never be used directly. Let it better stay a kind of reminder of the human madness and of that awful disaster that it could have almost led to the world nuclear war. Well, let's go upstairs. Thank you so much.